This is Iron Sharpens Iron Council. Welcome to the evolution. Hey family, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I am Ann Smith and I am on a mission to save my daughter and to clear her name. So I'm recording a series of videos to drop a few of the behind the scenes issues never revealed to the public. So the family betrayal. That's a tinderbox because I have experienced every human emotion imaginable. But let's just jump into it so that this video will be, short and sweet. Okay. So when the nightmare began, my daughter, was happily married, and just like any married couple, you have your ups and downs. So, as expected, he did support her initially. Okay. And he even did a few interviews to, denounce all of the claims that she is, just any assumptions that people were making because they didn't know, and the media was it was a media frenzy, and it was all being fed by the prosecutor. Of course, we didn't know any of this at the time, but here it is 7 years later. I put all the puzzle pieces together. So here we have an innocent woman who is being trashed. Her name is being vilified in the media because this is a page out of their playbook. Okay, so me and her, my ex son-in-law, we're putting our heads together because we're scrambling. We don't know what the hell is going on. Like, why are they lying? Where's the media getting all this? And then there was a lot of media requests. So I was just in too much shock. I didn't want to talk to anybody back then, but he was okay with speaking to the media, and he did several interviews. Thank the Lord. And I say that because later on he betrayed her and turned on her and all that. But let's stay right here. So he did the interviews and explained, because again, he's in shock, total shock, because here his wife of 6-7 years just completely acted out of character. This is what he said in the media. This is what, doing his interview, we're in shock, he's in shock, everybody's in shock. We just don't know what to think. And then this media onslaught painting her, his wife, my daughter, as a like this hardened criminal. It was just bizarre. You're living in a twilight zone. No one can really be prepared for something like this. Again, it was the beginning of the railroading, and when you are being railroaded, you don't know, especially if you have no experience. So he did these media interviews, and then my daughter is in jail, his wife is in jail, and we're trying to figure out, well, what to do, how we're going to care for the children, because she was the primary caregiver of the children. Even though they both worked, she always made sure that everything was, like, she ran the house. She made sure that everything was in order, and he was very loving and very supportive, and they had their ups and downs. Anyway, I say all that to say that he had agreed for the children to come to Maryland with me, because here they are in Virginia Beach. He is a man lost, just confused, distraught, and having to care for 2 young children when he's never done that on his own before. So we were just putting our heads together. And at this point, we were talking to my daughter, and it was the 3 of us. We were a team. Deciding what would be the best way to handle with the kids. And I was like, well, I'm not leaving Maryland. And he has to work in Virginia Beach, so that we made the decision to together, and I was taking cues from them. I wasn't inserting myself. I was just trying to be supportive. And so the two of them, the two parents, decided that it would be best for the children to come and stay with me in Maryland, right? So that's what happened. And I want to say they stayed with me in Maryland for over a year, maybe 2 years. It's all fuzzy now. I would have to look at the exact dates. But anyway, so we had to go and petition the courts, for me to have custody. And I was granted a final order of custody, physical custody over my two grandchildren, who I call my babies. So he was working in Virginia Beach, and to this day I feel really, really I question myself, because I feel like I dropped the ball, because if I had been more in tune to I don't know, communicate with him. I was so involved with the kids and making sure, and there was a lot going on with that. They had therapy, they had school, and it was just, a lot, just busy with two young children. Plus I had, my young son too. So 3 children and the 2 cats, because their 2 cats came with the 2 children. So I inherited. So the cats that you hear me talking about, that's their cats, and I just ended up with them, with the cats. So anyway, long story short, he ended up during the time that he spent alone in the house. If you can only imagine, it was very, very traumatic for him. And really didn't have any, I guess, support. And so eventually his father, who I now know as his actual stepfather, all that comes out in the book. But, that truth is revealed. That truth about his lineage didn't even come. My daughter didn't even know that was the man who she thought was her father-in-law is not his biological father. We never knew. That all came out in the wash. It all came out. But long story short, his father convinced him, oh no, you need to go get those kids because she's going to file for child support. Not one time did I mention child support. I don't know where that came from. I think it was just, when people get in your head, and that's what happened. And so he, not one time did he, I think, I'm sorry, let me go back. I think one time I convinced him to go visit his wife, because he's there in Virginia Beach. I'm not. Visit her. So I already knew something was wrong. I already knew it was just some things were just not adding up. So he started turning against her, knowing she is 100% innocent. So he started withdrawing his support, and his father or stepfather convinced him to start working with the prosecutor. And then he filed for divorce, and then he filed for custody of the kids. And so it was a very, very shocking betrayal, because I remember him telling me that he was so surprised and impressed of how much support his wife received, because he remember, he comes from a family that doesn't do that, or something to that effect. I really block him out now, because, I just can't believe that in her greatest hour of need, he just abandoned her. And so in one court, which is, I guess, the criminal court, he was telling the truth, because I guess he was forced to tell the truth, because he had already gave the truth to the media that, my wife is, she's a wonderful mother, wonderful wife, wonderful person. And she's very loving, and she was acting out of character. She was on all of these prescription drugs, and she, it was a downward spiral, and she was acting strange and acting weird, and so he was telling the truth about that. So he had to testify and align with that, because otherwise he would have been lying if he changed his story, even though by the time the trial happened, he was already, like, mentally against her, and with his family, or his father really was, the mastermind behind all of that. So in the family court, he was, when I tell you the polar opposite, oh no, she was a horrible woman, horrible mother, completely. It's like, wow, you can say in the same court building, but two different courtrooms, he was saying the polar opposite. So I'm definitely going to raise that as an issue for perjury. When you lie in court, there ought to be some consequences. And he was lying and saying things, and this was in the family court, that he was visiting the kids and he was supporting the kids and all of this. And I'm looking at him like, well, like, I came prepared with the truth, and all of these lies that were coming at me was just so shocking, because remember, I'm still traumatized from the events, in its entirety. So looking back now, I wish I knew then what I know now, because I could have been better prepared. And I had hired lawyers, and I spent over $40,000 and was still losing. And it was just like incredible that he was getting away with blatant lies. But let me tell you something about the judge and the system, the justice system. The judge is not the final authority. The judge is not even the authority in a courtroom. Did not know that back then. The law is the authority. And so if I knew the law well enough back then, I could have guided the attorney that I hired, and things would have went very, very differently, as it's going to be in the future. But I'm telling you, I was not prepared for the blatant lies. Lord have mercy. It was like mind blowing. It was Twilight Zone level. And he visited, and he supported financially, and he what else did he say? He surrounded, he qualified the financial support by the fact that I had the family van initially, but then he took that, being spiteful. I still had the children, but he took the van. So what I did was I bought a van, identical van, that looks just like their family van. It was a blue, damn it, what kind of car was it? I don't remember the make. But it was a blue something. I'll put the name of the van across the screen. But anyway, I bought the same van because my concern was for the children, and I wanted them. I had a Mercedes, okay. Then I wanted them to be in the same car as they had been used to, that mommy drove them in. And he took the van. Daddy took the van, didn't care. So I bought my own van to match that. It was a Mazda MPV. There you go. It just kind of came back to me. It was a Mazda MPV. And so it was the same color, same make, same model. I looked, I scoured the internet, and I bought one. A used Mazda MPV. So anyway, and they were so happy. And I did that for them. I gave up, my personal transportation for them, and I loved it. And we had so many little parties in the van, when we were on our way to school. It was just amazing. But none of that mattered, because his father was dictating and telling him, look, if you don't do this, that, and the next, I'm not going to give you this job. And he held the job, because his father owns a company. I think it's Jeff's warehouse. It's a fish warehouse. I'll put all that on the screen, honey. I cannot remember. But the point is, he told him that I'll give you a job if you move to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, called Hatteras. Never even heard of it until I met them. But yeah, I'll give you a job if you just, come and move there, but you have to move there. You have to move there. You can't stay here. You can't be supporting this. You need to jump ship. This is a sinking ship. Just divorce her, forget her, move on with your life. And he took that and ran with it. But like I said, I will always, I beat myself up a long time for a long time because I feel like if I had stayed more in contact with him, he would have stayed on the straight and narrow, because that's what happened initially when CPS was all involved, and we had to let them know our family plan. Okay. And our family plan was for the children to come and live with me. Well, his father was livid. His father was like, but the man lived, when I tell you, 5 minutes away from them in Virginia Beach, and I visited them more, and I'm in Maryland. So anyway, that's not even the worst. That's bad enough. That's bad enough. But that's still just the tip of the iceberg that came from the family betrayal. And I'll get more into that, but I don't want this video to become too long. But yeah, apparently his father wrote a letter to the prosecutor, and we've been asking for that letter since the beginning of time. While we can't see the letter, we asked to see the letter from the public defender. Up to now, 7 years later, we still can't see the letter. Why this man writing a letter to the prosecutor, I don't know. What did he have to say about my daughter? His he said, ay, la vida. I always forget what is the word. Well, the woman his son was married to. What is that word? Anyway, y'all, English is a second language, and this is real life happening. I don't script. I just turn the camera on. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. But yeah, he wrote a letter, and we still have yet to see the letter, and have been requesting it since we found out about this letter. Yeah, failure to protect the public. The prosecutor or the prosecuting attorney is entrusted with the authority to protect the public. Same thing with the office of the public defender. But if they're not defending the public and just doing whatever the hell they want to do, how is justice being served? There's so many different stories that I that I look back and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, at the time that it's happening that something is wrong, something is really off, but you're just in the throes of it. You don't really know how to figure these things out until like it's happening with me years and years and years later. I'll tell you all a story about when I was sitting in the lobby waiting for my turn to give witness testimony. I'm sitting in the lobby, and the father-in-law, Jeff, walks by, and he comes in my face. I'm sitting down, and he's towering over me. Like, I'm right here, and he's right here in my face. Blah, 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 blah. So I am trying to remain calm. And he's in my face, mouthing off, and talking nonsense. And just very childish, immature stuff. Like, that's at least it's not my son. It's not my son in there fighting for their life or fighting for their freedom. And I'm like, what? I mean, when it came to that, he was mouthing off, just lipping off, and I'm just looking at him like I'm in shock. Like, I'm looking around like, does anybody else see this? And I'm looking at him, and when he said that piece, that's when I stood up. Okay, because you're not gonna just you're already violating my personal space. So he was already getting in my face, and he was lipping off about my daughter now. Okay, no. Keep it about me and you. That's I can take that. But now you want to talk about my daughter? So I stood up, And when I stood up, he backed up and he was mouthing off, lipping off. And I took my purse and I swung it. And I wanted to hit him. I did, but I didn't hit him. I wanted to, but I didn't hit him. I just went like that, like I was going to swing on him. And then I just walked away. I walked away. I waited for him to go back into the courtroom because he wasn't on the witness list. So he could go back in. I couldn't. I had to stay out there. The next thing I know is when I was on the witness stand, the prosecutors mentioned that I was out here in the lobby attacking the father-in-law, Jeff. Do you see the madness? And I was like, wow, let's roll the videotape. How about we roll the videotape? And hopefully the videotape has audio, because you could see the whole kit and caboodle. You could see the whole thing from beginning, middle to the end. I'm sitting there minding my business. I didn't say hello. I didn't say hi. I just nodded my head, the head nod, hi, just keep it moving. And he comes to me, harassing me and in my face and all of that. And I was supposed to, and so she turned, so without even verifying, she just took his word as golden. So you see, she needs to be disbarred. I tell you, charges will be filed, and I'm coming, because this is crazy. My daughter is being, again, very uncooperative because she's scared. This is what they have done to her. This has been a 7-year horrific nightmare. So it's time for me to speak up, because when you don't speak up, the liars and the wrongdoers get away with their lies and their wrongdoing. No more. I'm not staying quiet anymore. I'm done with that. We're gonna have to start answering, and I'm in the habit of telling the truth and telling truth that I can prove, especially. So, and vice versa on the flip side. I'm not gonna say anything I can't prove. Okay, so everything you can fact check, and I'll have the evidence for you. So, yeah, what happened here, is a terrible miscarriage of justice. But I began very shortly realizing that it's not just us. So this is bigger than me. This is bigger than my daughter's case. This is not about just me and my family. This is about you and your family and protecting your loved ones, because this could be any one of us. My daughter went to the dentist. We all go to the dentist. My daughter went to the dentist and had teeth extracted, wisdom teeth extracted. And this is what started all of this. The prescription drugs to mitigate the pain and pain relief and all that sent her down this horrific spiral. And to be, it ended her marriage because he divorced her in the middle of it, before the trial. It was I think he filed and then the divorce was granted after. I can't remember all the timelines of everything, but he was very unsupportive afterwards. In the beginning, we were all in shock. We were trying to just figure everything out, and thank the Lord, thank goodness that he was forced to tell the truth at her trial. But then to blatantly lie during the custody hearing, wow. I mean, the polar opposite. And I didn't have the wherewithal to figure out that I could have, because the criminal trial happened first, then the custody hearing. And so had I known what I know now, I don't know, I probably could have ordered the transcript and presented that as evidence, because remember I just said the judge is not the authority in the court, is the law. So they would have to go by the law. And so anyway, I'll do a different video for the custody piece, because I don't want to mix up the two, even though they're kind of integrated with each other and connected to the same family. So yeah, that's what happened. It's crazy, but all of the details are horrific. This system failed my family, and I want accountability. I want the wrongdoers to be exposed. I want the liars to go to jail. It's really just that simple. It don't need to be complicated. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Take a look at the links in the video description box, and I'll see you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.